Welcome, ASUN fans, to another edition of Lunchbox, where we take our lunch hour and talk to your favorite ASUN athletes. On today's episode, we welcome on ASUN fan vote preseason goalkeeper of the year, Stetson goalkeeper, Nicolo Radaelli. Welcome onto Lunchbox.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, first, I have to ask, you had this big honor being the ASUN fan vote of the ASUN fan vote preseason goalkeeper of the year. What does that mean for you?
So first of all, I'm really glad and thankful for all the people who voted me. And of course, like it gives me a push to, keep going and work hard for the upcoming season, which is gonna be really, really tough.
Yeah, for sure. Where do you think all those votes came from? A lot of fans abroad?
Well, I'm pretty sure part of my family, I would say, and then a lot of guys from Stetson. Of course, my girlfriend did a good job as well. So
It's
let's
awesome.
say all that mix made it possible.
Yeah, very cool. That's very cool. Got to make sure it gets out there and you get as many votes as possible, and certainly well earned as well. A lot of people say college athletes grow the most between their freshman and sophomore year, and you're going to your sophomore year now. Do you think that that adage is true? And if so, how do you think you've grown from your freshman to sophomore year?
So I have to say that last year when I got here was my first experience in the United States, and I wasn't aware of anything, about soccer in the US and about life in the US. So more than how to say soccer wise, I would say I've grown a lot about life wise and how to live here, how to adapt myself and my schedule to the new rhythm, to the new habits that, Americans have. But yeah, I will absolutely say that the freshman and sophomore years are the most important for a athlete because like they're the first 2 years where you can just see what's around you and you have also the time to make mistakes because coaches and professors as well understand that you need time to get used to the new, let's say, environment.
Totally. So you did make that big move from Milan, Italy to Deland, Florida to play for Stenson. That's a huge move. And what kind of attracted you to Stenson and getting this opportunity to play in the ASUN conference?
So I have to say that when first the first meeting I had with Ahmed, our head coach at Stetson, he went through, let's say, the values and the principles that the Stetson University and the Stetson men's soccer team have, and I was just how to say really impressed by that. And then going forward from there, I've had multiple chances to speak and talk with other guys who were at Stetson at that time, and they convinced me, let's say, explaining how it works here and how the soccer level is high and competitive. So that's why I decided to move here.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly a competitive league and competitive conference. So we're excited to see how that plays out this year. You started your youth career in Italy. You played professionally for Inter Milan, Genoa, uh, Pescara. How do you feel? The game is different from Italy to America.
So I have to say that, let's say, soccer in the US is way different compared to let's say football or soccer, how you want to call it in Europe, because in Europe there is a lot more of tactics, a lot more of design plays instead of, let's say, US where the player is more, how to say, free to do what he wants to do. Then, of course, I mean, you have some roles that you need to respect and do properly. But I would say that the big difference between Europe and the US is the tactic and how much, how to say, how much free is a player during a game. That's a huge difference.
It's interesting. So do you feel like coming from Italy, you're able to bring those more tactics to the game? Do you feel like your skills that you learned in Italy have translated well then to the American game?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I would rather say that, let's say, European players are more used to tactics, so they know what when, like, for example, coaches are trying to explain how to move the defensive line, how to press. I would say that European players know more about that topic rather than, for example, Americans. But just because, like, probably they haven't done it before. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, super interesting. We mentioned a little bit kind of about your big move from Milan to Dylan a couple times now, but I'm just curious from like a culture aspect, how have you kind of adjusted? It was a big culture shock for you when you moved. How's it been now that you're a year in Florida?
Well, I have to say that the first time I got here was last August, and in Italy was hot. But since I stepped out from the plane, I was like, oh my goodness, this is so hot. It's like way hotter than Milan, where I was coming from. And yeah, I mean, I've found plenty of differences, but that didn't scare me or didn't, how to say, yeah, he didn't scare me. I was, how to say, um aware of everything and ready for this new adventure, and I'm really happy about it. Then of course, like, the only thing I'm really missing about Italy is the food, as you might know. It's like, we're famous for food, and probably in the US is the only thing which is not really good.
I definitely want to ask you about that. This is the lunchbox, so we have to ask a food oriented question. How is the Italian food in Florida? Does it compare at all to what you've eaten back home?
Oh no, no. I'm sorry to say that, but I'm sorry for my Florida friends. They're like Italian food and let's say Florida Italian food or Florida food or more in general American food.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely a big difference. Can you talk going a little bit more back to your team? The Hatters played 3 exhibition games already this year. What were you able to take away from those 3 games? And what do you kind of think you've learned personally about yourself in those 3 games?
So I would say that personally, these were the first 3 games of the season, and since I have played the summer league in Lubbock, Texas, I was, how to say, already in shape and ready to go. But let's say that we took the those 3 games as getting ready, getting ready for the fall. So probably we weren't at our top condition, but we tried to apply our principles. We probably worked for a little bit and then didn't work for another games, but it's okay.
Totally, totally. Um, I'm curious, last year you guys ended your season in the conference tournament semifinals and a PK shootout. What is it going to take for this year for the Hatters to kind of get over that hump and make it into the tournament championship and potentially win it?
So first of all, we need to be more convincing of our qualities. We need to be a team inside and outside the field. I think that is gonna make a huge difference. And of course, our mentality has to be really sharp during the games because we need to go step on the field and get ready to score as many goals as possible in the shortest amount of time, of course. And after that, be ready to manage it.
Yeah. So your first regular season game's coming up this Thursday. It's a home game against at the athletic training camp against College of Charleston. You know, how have you guys already started to prepare for that game? Is it exciting to start your first game at home?
Yeah, we just had practice this morning, and we went through some stuff about Charleston and how they play and how they're gonna press us. Of course, in the next couple of days, we're gonna work more on defensive shape and offensive shape. Of course, it's exciting. You know, it's our game opener, home opener at home, our university, our field with our friends and our family. So it's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to see what you guys do this season and excited to see how that first game goes. So here on Lunchbox, we have a new game. It's called Red Flag, Green Flag. I'm going to prompt you with a couple of prompts, and you're going to have to tell me if it's a red flag, meaning bad thing you wouldn't do, or a green flag, meaning a good thing you would do, and why you think it's a red flag or a green flag. Let's get into it. Your first prompt is leaving your goalkeeper one on one with the striker.
Green flag.
Green flag, you're willing to take on the
Yeah, yeah. Why not?
All right, I like it. Marking your man on a corner kick.
Red flag.
Red flag. Why is that?
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not good at marking guys on the box, you know. So I'd rather leave that job to someone else.
Yeah, leave it to the defenders. Um, Calling it soccer instead of football.
Oh, that's a tricky question because I would say red flag because you know I'm from Europe and I rather prefer call it football. But I know here there's like another type of football.
Well, thank you.
But yeah, yeah, let's say that it's a red flag.
Red flag. Okay, I like it. I like it. Good stuff. Got a good mix of green and red on that one. Well, thank you very much for coming on this episode of Lunchbox. ASUN fans, the Stetson Tatters kick off their season this Thursday at the Athletic Training Center against College of Charleston. And don't forget to follow ASUN on all social media accounts.